back. This is part 4 of the series. Today I want to talk about volume profiles, market profiles, TPOs. When I do a TPO market profile analysis, I use tick-based charts and either EXO charts or Sierra charts to develop my market profiles. It's more accurate. However, if you want to just get started, you can do the basic framework on TradingView. Today we're going to use the periodic volume profile, and when you go into the settings, you can set it to the specific time. You want to change the row size, your colors, and just kind of play with it a bit. This is a weekly profile on Bitcoin. And so the blue is your value area, your red line is the point of control, which is the point at which the most volume was executed, and the gray is the area outside of volume. In essence, just to make it as simple as possible, if you have a bell curve profile, right? So something like this right here, where it is shaped like a bell curve, right? When you have those types of volume profiles, market profiles, that is telling you that the price of the asset is at a fair value, right? Um, Price is in balance, buyers and sellers are generally in agreement, and what happens is you get a good bit of chop, right? And as price moves away from this balance area, it tends to just retrace back, and you want to play mean reversion trades when market is in balance, right? You don't want to be playing ranges, you don't want to be playing a range on a trend day or a trend on a range day. So when you have these types of rounded profiles, you really just want to be playing uh, the range. Now, when you don't have a clear bell curve, or when price spends a significant amount of time in a specific range and then leaves it, then you get a bigger move, right? So currently we have this drop from the first week in November, and then we've established a new range since then, right? And you've seen my prior videos, so you see how I develop a fixed range. And essentially, what I'm doing is just combining these profiles. But when you look at the very basic of strategies, if price is in balance, if price is in that value area, you play the range. If price is outside of that value area, you play a move towards the next range and value area. Currently, we're inside weekly value. We've got a pretty big gap right here. And so we're looking for one of two things. Either we leave this value area to the upside. Oh, uh, Either we leave this value area to the upside and get a decent move, or we come back into last week's value area, and I would expect to chop around that 16.6 level. If we lose last week's value area, meaning if we lose this 16.2, 16.3, then I would expect a move further down to the downside. And that's basically it. It's a way to develop a strategy because a market profile, volume profile on a higher time frame, whether it's the daily or the weekly or the monthly, is going to give you an understanding as to whether we are ranging or trending, whether we are going to expect continuation or whether we are seeing exhaustion and signs of reversal. And what you're looking for are these nice bell curves, these big B shaped, little B shaped, right? So if we look at B shapes, that's a big B, and my drawings are terrible. That's a little b, right? Uh, this is a D shape. And this I would consider a P shape, right? Now, we're in this, we're in a pretty tight time frame here, so these are just examples, right? But essentially, you can start to see that P shapes, if you're seeing a sequence of P-shaped profiles, you're in an uptrend. And until you see a move away from those P shapes, you should keep playing the uptrend. If you're in a D shape, you should be playing the range. If you're in a sequence of B shapes, you should be playing the downtrend. B shapes, the big B shapes are a lot trickier, and to me, they spell indecision. And what I normally do with these B shapes is I split them off, right? I would turn this into two separate volume profiles. If you leave this range over here, and so the it it would look something like this, right? And you can do this by doing using the previous tools, but your value area of this top portion of the B would be over here, and as soon as you lose it, you would expect to test the value of the lower, right? Which would be right over here. And as you can see, we kind of chop around here, and you see a number of possibilities, right? You take this play from the loss of the top profile to the top of the bottom profile. And sometimes it fills it in and you end up with a nice D shape. You start off with this big B and you end up with a nice rounded profile. But if you accept back in this lower level, then you know price tried to move up, it failed, and you have a much higher likelihood of continuing to the downside, right? But that's basically it. In essence, the reason I start with a market profile and TPO is to give me an idea of where the market feels that price is going, right? Does the market feel like price is fair and I'm in a range? Does the market want higher or lower? And what levels need to be breached to invalidate or validate that thesis? All right. Uh, Let me know if you have any questions. There's a whole lot of complexity to these profiles. You start talking about initial balance, you start talking about merging profiles. There's a whole lot of nuance that can be derived from these profiles. But if you're just getting into it, I highly suggest that you just understand how these shapes are communicating how the market feels about price. All right. Um, Make sure to like the video and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Uh, I'll try to do a more in-depth market profile video with either ExoCharts or Sierra, or I'm using the Edge Pro now, and it's been working really well, and give you a more in-depth view of how I use it. But try just setting this up. Try setting up a weekly profile on your 4 hour or daily chart and just start your day with it to get an idea of what's happening. Um, and I think you'll find that it'll make you at the very least take a step back, think about why price is moving or not moving, because when price isn't moving or isn't doing something, that a lot of times can be more important than the actual movement. But just take a step back and look at these profiles and take a moment to try and figure out what the market is telling you before you start trading, right? Um, and yeah, check out Bing and try it out. Try it out in Forex, try it out in oil, try it out in crypto, S&P 500. It works on everything. So let me know how it works for you, and if you have any specific questions, and we'll do a follow up with a little bit more in-depth review. Thanks.